guys, Rhonda Turquoise here, RK3 Designs, and I have a really cool finish that I want to show you today. It is actually a custom piece that I did for a piece of furniture for a client. She came to me and said, I want a wow factor, I want it to have some golds and some turquoises, but I want it to be classy. And I did several sample boards and I kind of came up with this finish. So I really am excited to bring it to you today. So we're gonna start off with my sample board. It's a 12 by 16. I have routed the edges so that I have no hard curves, no 90-degree angles, so that my epoxy will just kind of flow over it. Now I know when you're doing furniture, sometimes you don't have the luxury of being able to router the edges, but in this case we do. And if you are in a position where you can't really avoid the 90-degree angles, I suggest that you take and obviously you're going to paint your surface your base color, which on this case it's going to be black, but I would really have you pay very close attention to really put 2 coats of your base tint or your base paint over those corners, so that if that epoxy does flow over there and is thin on your edges, I guess say, you're able to make sure that you're not going to be seeing through to that base color. We're going to start off with our black tint. Stone Coat Countertop black base tint, and to that I added just a hint of gold dust. And I mean, when I say a hint, it is a very, very small amount, because I don't want that to be the focus when I put my black tint down. So if I'm looking at it, it's catching my eye, but it's not the first thing that I see is a bunch of gold. Then I also started off with tropical turquoise, and I mixed just a hint of the real teal. I really wanted the turquoise to be the main color. I just wanted a hint of that teal to kind of brighten it up, I would say. And to that, it's just the epoxy. I didn't add any kind of the dust. Then I came in with the actual gold mica powder, which is a much finer particle. It actually tints the epoxy as opposed to the dust, which is more of a almost like a glitter, but a little smaller than a glitter. To this, I actually added a little bit of the gold dust. So I used the mica gold powder, added a little bit of the mica gold dust. There's not a lot of colors going on here, but it's going to be really pretty because it's going to be very simple and very classy. So we're going to start off with the black base tint. Now I'm going to leave just a little bit of that tint in my bucket because I'm going to come back to that. Now, because I've had it sitting while I was getting ready for this video, I've had it sitting a little bit in my cup. I'm going to warm it up just a bit so that when I get ready to trial it out, it'll trial out a little nicer. I'm looking at the black tint and my eye is catching the gold dust in here, so it's really very, very pretty. All right, then I'm going to go ahead and just trial this out, and because I heated it, it is really trialing out nice. And I'm actually going to come in, and because this is a sample board, I'm actually going to come in here with my hands. Address my corners. Wow. You wouldn't think that the gold dust would even show up in the black base tint, but it is really incredible how that does show up. All right, so I'm going to take out my bubbles. And now we have a beautiful background to get started. because I don't want the alcohol to interfere with the vein that I'm fixing to put through the middle. I want to go ahead and spritz the whole board with 91% isopropyl alcohol mixed with my gold mica powder. And that's going to really cause some pretty effects. And I'm going to open up my spray bottle so that I'm getting a pretty fine mist. So I can definitely see it, and it's definitely going to be causing some neat effects, but that's going to all be in the background. And I'm calling it my background because we're just building layers and layers. And my main focus is going to be that gold vein and that turquoise vein that's going to run through the top. So everything else that we're doing is kind of in the background. So I want to really focus on this gold vein. And so I'm just going to bring that, and this is my gold mica powder. I'm going to bring it in. I'm going to add just in the corners. I just want there to be a little bit, not a whole lot, just a little bit of interest. Add a little of the turquoise in. And I'm using just a tiny bit. I'm just gonna bring a little bit in here. And then I'm gonna start doing some chopping. I am loading my brush up with some black because I don't want to go straight in there with the dry brush, because then all I'm going to do is start pulling up my epoxy and pulling it off the board, where I want to go ahead and preload it so it doesn't do that. And then I'm going to very lightly kind of chop these in. I'm not really mixing them. I want to be very careful how much I actually chop on here. I don't want to chop the whole thing. I do want to still have some of the effects that the alcohol did when I spritzed it. So I don't want to chop my whole board. I just kind of want to get these gold and turquoise kind of melded together. And oh, these are beautiful colors. And get my stick. I'm just kind of going to bring that turquoise line. So I just kind of took my stick and took that epoxy, and I kind of pushed those micas down into the back, or the black, I'm sorry. Now I'm just going to kind of take my heat gun, and I'm going to play with this vein. I'm going to kind of open it up a little bit. I'm not going to get crazy. I don't want it to take over. I just want it to be very subtle. And then I'm going to move these melded colors around just a little bit. And I just love these colors together. Now your alcohol sometimes will cause some little divots. And all that is surface tension. And you just kind of get them out with your fingers. All right, so now I'm going to come in. And I'm going to add a little bit of the turquoise. And I'm going to go kind of to the edge of that vein, because I don't really want it to overpower the gold. I want it to complement it. Now I'm taking that heat gun and I'm causing that turquoise to be pushed over the top of the gold. And I'm going to actually come up here and do some tilting to get a little softer flow. Kind of bring those colors in. mix them a little better in there. Oh yeah, that's pretty. I really not sure if the video is going to be able to really show just the colors as they all mix together. It's absolutely gorgeous. And there's just enough of the diamond dust in there, the gold dust, I'm sorry, to really just make this piece just kind of pop. Yeah. Now I've got a little bit of air bubble coming in here. I like to use my torch instead of my heat gun to get rid of bubbles. It just does a much better job in my book. Let me get a little bit of this. There. Now, I'm really, really liking this. It's a very, very, very classy, rich. And like I said, I did this on a top of a dresser, and then around the edge of the dresser, I did some gold leafing on the actual furniture part, the rim, and then on the leg, and then some of the drawers. And it was just stunning. It was just stunning. Now, I want to come back in here and bring a little bit more of my gold so that I get some fracturing into the turquoise. I'm going to bring back a little bit of the black into the vein. So I'm going to just run a black vein down through the middle of it. Open that vein up again. And that black spray paint is going to give that vein a little bit of character. It's going to add some lines in there, and just kind of where your eyes now going to kind of focus on that black running through there. I'm going to heat the top portion of this vein, so when I tilt it, the top is going to run and not the bottom. See how that top is running on top of the vein, and the bottom, because I didn't heat it, it's just staying there. Now I do want a little bit more fracturing, but I don't want to add color because I've already added my mica colors with my alcohol and I got that fracturing, but now I really want to add the same fracture, but I don't want to add more color. So I'm just going to add alcohol, plain alcohol, and that really causes some beautiful effects. It's causing the webbing that's on top of the piece that was laid down by the mica powder in the alcohol. Because now I'm using clear alcohol, it's taking those mica powders and it's kind of fracturing them a little bit more, and it's opening up down to the turquoise that I had originally. So now there's a big circle here that I'm not real happy with. I don't really like, I accidentally dropped a big blob of alcohol there. So all I'm going to do is going to come in here and I'm going to kind of play with that and get rid of that. And that also kind of adds in a little more. Now when you bring more epoxy onto your board, your pattern is going to spread out, as opposed to me adding just a spray paint. So I know that I'm bringing in more epoxy. I'm adding epoxy onto the finish. So it's going to cause, because epoxy flattens out, it's going to cause my pattern to get bigger. If I were just to add the spray paint, that spray paint is not going to cause that vein to get wider as it does when I add more epoxy. But I'm trying to really kind of broaden this vein out just a little bit more. I want to add a little bit more interest, and I'm going to go ahead and add some more. Decided I was going to go a little bolder. Add a little bit more. So now I'm really building up this vein, and I'm going to let it sit for just a minute. Let the mica powders, the spray paint, the base tint, let all of that kind of talk to each other a little bit and see who's going to win. When you add a little heat to that, that's when you start causing some really neat effects. There. That's neat. So, got a lot going on here. You've got a lot in the background, but then you have that really big, bold color going through there. Now let's say if you're doing this and you think maybe you put a little bit too much mica powder and it's too much gold. There's not enough distinction between your veins and everything going on. Just bring back your black brush and let's push some of that mica powder back down in to the surface so that we don't maybe have quite so much of that gold peeking through. There we go. I didn't do a lot. I just did a little bit. Wow, yeah, that's very pretty. And I'm going to come back over it just a little bit of the alcohol. Okay, I think I'm liking that. I think I wanted to add a little bit more spray paint just to get a little bit more distinction. There we go. All right, well, I think we're gonna call it a day. What do y'all think? Leave me some comments in the comments section and see if you think maybe I should have stopped a long time ago, or should I go one step farther, which I'm actually fixing to do, and widen this vein up a little bit. Give me your opinion, what you think I should have done there. You can see I'm kind of really widening this vein up. Softening. There we go. Taking that heat gun and softening the effects around it. Okay, well, I'll be posting some pictures of the actual dresser that I did. At the end of the video, you'll be able to see this technique actually on a piece of furniture, and the way that you can take a drab piece of furniture and really wow it up. thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Hit the bell to subscribe so when I do post videos each week, you'll be able to be notified. And leave me some comments. I love seeing your feedback of things that maybe you want to see in the future. And like I said, I appreciate everything, and thanks for watching.